Curse stomp, yo niggas headed to the ground, now you seeing HD. I'm a visionary, revolutionary, bitches really wanna change me. Curse stomp, yo niggas headed to the ground, now you seeing HD. Biggest stage of my sport, out of main event, this shit don't really faze me. Multi-time champ, money in the bank, losing shit just ain't me. I'm a visionary.
Thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode of the D&B Podcast. We are your hosts, Camilio Salamander and KB the fucking Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
And today we got week 9 of professional wrestling. So
Is it week 9?
Week 8. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, is it week 9?
I was week ahead. Week 8 of professional wrestling. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Raw had opened up with Brock Lesnar making his way to the ring with the newly won WWE Championship. He had interacted with the crowd and looked psyched when the crowd started chanting Suplex City. Before he could say more, Paul Heyman had interrupted from the stage. Lesnar warned him not to come closer and chanted "You suck" with the crowd. Paul Heyman doing his usual shit. Paul Heyman being Paul Heyman. He's talked his trash on behalf of Roman Reigns, but the Beast was not going to fall into his trap of mind games, I should say. Lesnar he eventually promised that he would be on SmackDown whether Reigns or Heyman would be there or not. This opening segment was alright. Basically the same shit. He just showed up on Raw, just for the views, cut the promo, got interrupted, just basically saying that he's gonna be on SmackDown, just to promote that. That's basically what I took from it.
Yeah, I thought the promo segment did his job. My bigger question to you is, and then we can move on, who is he fighting March 5th at the Garden? Who's he fighting? It's not Bobby.
We'll get to that in the news, because I do have that in the news.
Okay.
Alright, so following that, we got Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits. Typical match.
You've seen it once, you've seen it twice, and I'm sick and tired of WWE acting like this shit is brand new when you guys were running this shit down our fucking throats when they both were on SmackDown. Match was fine. It was every WWE tag team match. The only person who really stood out to me was Angelo Dawkins, and that was because of the dive, and he almost didn't clear the ropes.
Yeah. Following that, we got Tommaso Ciampa versus Finn Balor versus the Dirty Dogs.
God fucking awful. Did you see?
I'm going the opposite of this. I actually think this was good though, and I think we about ready for Tommaso Ciampa to come on to the main roster.
Solomon, I'm gonna tell you exactly why this shit is bad. Remember in the old NXT when Tommaso Ciampa had a whole bunch of gray in his beard and he just looked like the old man of NXT?
Yeah.
You see that beard fully brown?
Because Vince was like, we don't need you to be like that. You basically a rookie coming into the main roster, so we need you to look like a damn rookie. We need you to look young.
You know what it is? He didn't want Tommaso Ciampa putting over the old NXT as a brutal place to be in a good way. Because guess what? You professionally wrestled down in NXT when Triple H was running it. God fucking awful. The whole match was god awful. It was pretty much, and I don't know how you can sit here and say it was good when it gave you what you always hate. 50-50 booking.
Exactly. Moving on to the next one, we got Nikki Ash, almost a superhero versus
Skip it.
Like you said with the Street Profits, you've seen it once, you've seen it again. They ran this down the hole. I want to see Rhea Ripley fake someone else. Get tired of this shit with her and Nikki Ash, and I guarantee they're gonna be doing this shit at WrestleMania too.
In a steel cage.
Oh my gosh. We got Damien Priest versus Sutton Benjamin, and this was not that good.
I like this match. It wasn't given a lot of time. Shelton Benjamin always surprises me. I just wish we'd had something more to do with Damien Priest. You know, I've gotten quite bored of his United States Championship run.
You had no worthy competitors. That's why, for real. They ain't building nobody else to even be worthy enough to face him for it.
Well, that too. But, typically when you hold that mid-card belt and you drop it, typically that's our sign that, okay, now you're getting ready to get moved up to the main event scene. Mm-hmm. Solomon, I don't even want to see him in the main event scene. He's drastically fallen off from where he was in NXT to even where he was about 6 months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he's ready for the main roster yet.
I'm not even saying he's not ready. I'm just saying his booking needs to be better. But then you could say that with a lot of people in WWE.
Exactly. Following this, we got Reggie and Dana Brooke versus Reggie, Dana Brooke, Doudrop versus Bianca Belair. Don't get it.
Hold on, you mean the Doudrop Dana Brooke, the 24/7 segment?
Yeah, that was
fan-fucking-tastic.
You think so? Boy, I'm getting tired of this damn 24/7 title, bro. What they promised us. They had Mick Foley come out and said this shit was gonna be featured on the 3rd hour of Raw, and it's supposed to be fucking basically Raw uncut. How that Raw Underground shit was supposed to be. It had promise, but they fucked it up. The 24/7 title had promise, but they fucked it up. I don't want to see this damn title no more.
Listen, bro. How are you upset? Dana Brooke and Reggie are in love. They just don't know it. Love is in the air, Salamander. It's February.
We seen this shit already.
With who?
In NXT. With damn, what's his name? The dude with the mustache.
First off, this will never compare to the great love story of Miss Loomis and Mr. Loomis.
That's what it is.
This will never be that. Loomis. Yes. But this will never be that. It will never be that.
Look, that's the NXT version. This is the main roster version of that story.
Salamander, why are you hating on love?
Why
are you hating on love?
Because I came to watch professional wrestling. I ain't come to watch no damn storyline. So if I want to watch this,
I'm sorry.
I'll tune into the Young and the Restless.
I'm sorry. You tuned in to Monday Night Raw to watch professional wrestling.
That was the first mistake.
You tuned in to Monday Night Raw to watch professional wrestling. Yo, first off, this is sports entertainment. You were sports entertained. Just admit you didn't like it. You didn't want to be sports entertained. If you want to watch professional wrestling, watch every Wednesday and Friday at 8 and 10 o'clock.
You sound like Suge Knight. You get tired of all this sports entertainment being all in the videos, all on your TV, dancing. Come to AEW. Following this, we got RK Bro versus Kevin Owens.
Hold on, Salamander. You skipped the promo. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. First off, when did Ray happen? When did the Ray and Logan Paul shit happen?
It happened Monday.
I want to touch on that real quick.
That shit, cause that's some bullshit.
No, it is. And here's my bigger issue with it. Somebody tell fucking Logan Paul that he's a fucking heel and he's not supposed to be giving bottles to little girls.
He's a celebrity.
He's a heel.
They can make exceptions for that.
No, he's a bad guy. There's no exceptions. He's a bad guy. So you're not supposed to be giving bottles to little girls. I don't give a fuck how much they wanted it. That ain't it. Matter of fact, you were supposed to give her the bottle and then take it back and laugh in her face. Yeah. Because that's what a heel would do. So then we had Bianca Belair in the Becky Lynch. That was cool. The match with Doudrop was fine. If it's one Bianca, you know what this Raw reminds me of? Every other Monday Night Raw. When you've seen one match, you've seen them all.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. So let's go ahead and get through this shit so we can move on to a little something that's at least decent. We got the main event. We got RK Bro versus Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Rollins had hit the stump on Orton at ringside before himself and Owens took turns hitting their finishers on Riddle for the win. This match was decent, but like I said, you said too. You seen one of these matches, you see them all. They booked this shit like weeks after weeks after weeks. It's really irrelevant. But I'm giving that show a 6. What would you give it?
Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna give Monday Night Raw 4. And it's a high 4. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It was just decent. It just served a purpose.
Okay. Well, now we're moving on to something that was at least decent. That was, in my opinion, better than Raw. We got NXT 2.0. NXT had opened up with Brian Baker opening up the show. He talked about his win over Santos Escobar. And he made the official announcement for NXT Stand and Deliver 2022 on WrestleMania weekend. Dolph Ziggler would interrupt and basically said that he would dethrone him after he finished with Tommaso Ciampa. Following that, we got LA Knight versus Grayson Roller.
Yeah.
This was the fist fight of the night. Hard blows getting thrown, but Waller defeated LA Knight via pinfall. We got the women's Dusty Classic, Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray versus Lash Legend and Amari Miller. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray would defeat Legend and Miller. We got Dante Chin. Did I say that right? Chad?
Chin. Dante Chin versus Duke Hudson.
Chin will pick up the win. We got Cameron Grimes versus Trick Williams, and Carmelo Hayes will cause a distraction that would result in Williams picking up the win. I know I'm gonna fuck this up. Nikita Lyons. I said it right?
Nikita Lyons.
Nikita Lyons versus Kayla Inlay.
Apparently, she set the Twitter world on fire with her pin.
And her debut. A split leg drop pin.
I'm not too impressed, bro. She wasn't all of that. Her in-ring work wasn't good to me. Like, I don't give a fuck about all of the sexiness and the sexual shit that NXT 2.0 tries to pull. I want to know what her in-ring work looked like. And I wasn't too impressed. She's just, to me, she looks like a watered down Jade.
I think this is I forgot. I'll circle right back around. But following this, we got another women's Dusty Classic. We got Casey I always fuck up.
Casey Cannon. There you go.
Yeah, I nailed it. And Kaden Carter versus Diamond Mine. Alright. So Casey and Carter have picked up the win. Then we got the main event. We got the number one contenders match, Tommaso Ciampa versus Dolph Ziggler. And we kind of know what this was going. If you watch Monday Night Raw, since Tommaso Ciampa got the win, it's bound that Dolph Ziggler would get the win. 50-50 booking.
50-50 booking at its fucking finest. And you gotta love it because the match was good.
It was, but I mean, ain't all Dolph Ziggler matches good?
Dolph Ziggler is a very passable 3-star wrestler.
Yes. Now we moving on to something great, and we really gonna rush through the show because we reported on some of this shit last few days ago, I would say. But AEW Dynamite, the Road to Revolution is here, and to kick off the show, we got the Tag Team Battle Royal. In this match, we got Gun Club, FTR, Red Dragon, 2.0, the Young Bucks, the Butcher and the Blade, the best friends, Satina and Ortiz, Private Party, and the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds representing the Dark Order, and Red Dragon Run.
Salaman, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna move on to the next segment. Go ahead.
Okay, Salamander. This battle royal started off rough, and it picked up, and I think the right team won.
I think it was too many people in the ring. Like, if you're gonna do a battle royal, I like how they're trying to do it different with a tag team battle royal. But if you're gonna do a battle royal, it need to be, like singles type shit, because it was like shit was everywhere.
Well, I like how theirs is different, because typically with WWE, if they decide to do a tag team battle royal, it would be like, well, once one person from the team is eliminated, the other person is.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid, because AEW is, both members of the respective team have to be eliminated, which is cool though, because think of how many times WWE has fucked up a comeback story because of how they have the rules.
I was just about to say, you could tell a great comeback story, and you could tell a great story of like, he's the heart of this team. He's the fighter and shit like that. Like, you could tell that story, like a Matt and Jeff Hardy story. Like, Jeff Hardy was always the better wrestler he always the one that got all the attention, the better wrestler. It's just so you'll be able to tell a story like that in a battle warrior match like this that actually makes sense. So I do like the aspect of it, but it did start it off rough. I will agree with you on that.
Yes, definitely.
Following this, we got Mjf Promo, and we touched on this a few days ago. I think this was one of the best promos of his career. If he defeat CM Punk at Revolution, dude, he turned babyface.
Oh man, we already reported on this. I'm glad we're still giving this some time. Salamander, remember the last time, or the second to last time, Cody Rhodes was on AEW. We had S tier promos all across the board. MJF cut an S tier promo here. Oh my goodness. And how he'll never be able to do this in WWE. They'll have him come out and cut every heel promo. He came out and cut an amazing organic babyface promo while still coming off as the heel. Like I said the last time we reported on it, MJF is just a hurt fan. So now, it depending on how you want to look at it, CM Punk is a dick. But also, you can't be mad at CM Punk because we can't portray MJF struggles on the CM Punk. We can't. You know what I'm saying? Like CM Punk said, this was just a Friday to me. But for you, this was the best day of your life. And it's like, come on, Punk, you can't be saying that, even if that's how you felt.
Yeah, at the time, it was like, oh, when he first did it.
Yeah.
You hear MJF's side, and then you like you said, like, damn, CM Punk a dick. So, yeah, I agree with that.
I just loved it. It was tugging at the heartstrings, and you didn't know where to go, because, the whole time, as much as I love MJF, I was really riding with Punk on this.
Uh-huh.
But then MJF cut this fucking promo, and CM Punk really sold it. Comes into the ring, no microphone, no music. Is it true? MJF says it's true. Nothing else happens. MJF gets so he walks out. And you know what else? He had that crowd in the palm of his fucking hand. And with tears in his eyes, you just get another layer of that MJF character. Like, this is, and I've seen a lot of comparisons to this. This is MJF's villain origin story. CM Punk caused all of this. Why MJF is the way he is. This is all CM Punk's fault. Because to you, Punk, it was just a Friday. But to MJF, it was the best day of his life. Let me ask you this, then we can move on. Because I can sit here and gawk about this one and the other promo we're going to talk about. Is this the best storyline, let's just say, within the past 5 years? Top to bottom.
Best storyline in the last 5. I don't know. I would say no, because I don't think nothing is topping Bobby Lashley becoming the Almighty and Roman Reigns becoming the head of the table, the Tribal Chief. Those two storylines had basically carried this whole pandemic and shit too. But AEW, I would say this: since AEW established, this is the best storyline AEW produced. I won't say this is one of the best storylines of the last 5 years for like all promotions, but
okay. Well, let me.
I would say that.
Okay, I was just gonna say, if it's not the best, then it's a top 5, because as good as the CM Punk MJF story is, the very first chapter of Roman Reigns not becoming the Tribal Chief, but I say, well, yeah, it was on his way, because I think when did he become the Tribal Chief? When he stepped back or after he won the title? I would say when he won the title.
It's the build up though, because remember he came back and interrupted or attacked Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. That was like the beginning of it, because he was healed from that point.
Okay.
The whole build up, the whole storyline, how he became it, lined himself up with Paul Heyman. That was a whole turn in his career. The shit that's going on now with Brock Lesnar, all that shit, this story is still going on.
Okay, so then what I would say is, as good as this rivalry or the storyline has been with CM Punk and MJF, if you want to call it the very first, you can, or not. Some people might say it's the second. The second chapter of Roman Reigns becoming the Tribal Chief is great, because you got real family. Mm-hmm. The storyline with Jay, how he made Jay say "I quit" in the Hell in a Cell by by putting Jimmy in the guillotine. That story might be just a tad bit better than this, and that's only because you got the family portion of it. So, real bloodline, real cousins. One really hates the other, and the other one just wants to see him great. Not my level of great, but I want you to be great nonetheless. So, yeah. So I'll say either the very first or the second chapter of Roman Reigns becoming the Tribal Chief. Yes. Outside of that, I'm gonna have to give it to this MJF and CM Punk.
Okay. Moving on to the next segment, we got the Death Triangle versus the Knights of the Black Throne, or simply known as the House of Black.
They're honoring the House of Black. Kings of the Black Thrones. You gotta say the whole thing. It's honoring the House of Black.
That's a long ass title.
So is a premium live event in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but you gotta say it.
All right, Death Triangle, they defeated Black and Brody King, but like I said, we reported on this earlier this week, so we really not gonna get this much time. But we all know Buddy Matthews made his debut. This is formerly known as Buddy Murphy, and he aligned himself up with the House of Black. So my thing about this match was good, but I really think Malachi Black should not be eating pinfalls in meaningless tag matches at all. Because this match, other than Buddy Matthews making his debut, what was the benefit of this match? Like, if they was gonna lose, he didn't need to pick up he didn't need to eat the pinfall. They could have gave it to Brody King, but nevertheless, I hope they continue to move forward. I don't think Malachi Black should be in the tag. I think he should go ahead and let Buddy Matthews and Brody King team up. He takes the singles title.
So I was very confused. Did you like the ending where he stopped the mist?
I think they could have went about it different, bro.
I think
I was hyped about Buddy Matthews showing up. That's what had me hype about it. But now that a few days done passed and we looking at it, I think they could have went about that totally different. And like I said, Malachi Black didn't even need to pick up the pinfall loss. It could have been, or it could have been a disqualification match, disqualification ending, They let it.
That's the first off. That disqualification is WWE. Get that out your mind. Number two, it's just a meaningless tag team match, and you're not going to have Malachi Black there that long, so he can take a pinfall. He just can't be out here losing consecutive weeks. So that's fine. The part where with the Mist, that might be one of the most creative ways I've ever seen the Mist counter. Most people just fall or get out the way. He actually put his hand over his mouth and prevented him from spitting it out. So I think that was very creative. I am going to put that over. I didn't like it, but I will put it over as creative. Buddy Matthews is Buddy Matthews. Like same thing I said when we reported on it. I love that there was still some animosity. And you know what I love is that we reference when somebody was great in another promotion, whether it's New Japan, whether it's WWE, whether it's Impact. It's always acknowledged. We might not say WWE by name, but we at least acknowledged how somebody else was great in the Fed.
I will say that I like how AEW do that. All right, moving on to the next segment, we got Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston face off. We really said a lot about this earlier this week when we talked about this. Is there anything else you want to add on to it?
S tier. AEW is getting to the point to where some of their best shows is they're promo heavy, and they're like S tier promos, masterclass promos. Whether it's one person or it's a back and forth with two. Eddie Kingston, like I said, Eddie Kingston needs somebody on his level. I'm not saying he can't carry, but I don't want him to carry. I want somebody who can level up with him. Jericho is the absolute best thing or best opponent for Eddie Kingston right now.
Okay.
Eddie Kingston coming back is on another level. And I love that they hit home. Jericho's more, as much as we like to sit here and say that, AEW is the home of professional wrestling, there's always been just a stench of WWE with certain people, like a Jericho. I would say Cody Rhodes too a little bit. He had that real old school type of WWE on him, so there's always been the stench of WWE, of sports entertainment. And I like how Eddie Kingston talked on that. I also loved how Chris Jericho, with his, I think it was success of, what was the word he used, where he was talking about the fear of success. And I'm thinking, that might be true, because I look back over Eddie Kingston's matches where he couldn't get the job done and he was just overzealous. It was like he was trying to secure the win instead of going out there to win, outside of the CM Punk, because he didn't care about winning that match anyway. He even acknowledged it. He just said he wants to beat him up. So, and you know what? I love how they add that little thing into Eddie Kingston's wrinkle, where it really tugs on, not even tugs, it just really, hits on that side of Eddie Kingston that's a real fighter. I don't want to win. I just want to beat you up.
Right. Moving on this, we got the Face of the Revolution ladder qualifier match. We got FTW champion Ricky Starks versus Dark Order's 10. And Ricky Starks will pick up the win. On this, I think we got the match of the night. We got the TBS championship match. We got Jade Cargill versus the Bunny. Jade Cargill. Oh my God. She is
fucking Mac Marvelous. She's fucking Mac Marvelous. That's what the fuck she is. Oh my God.
Her outfit remind me of Storm from X-Men shit. The Halle Berry version.
Salamander.
I see her.
Salamander. I was gawking. I was so enthralled. the reversal of down the rabbit hole into the Jaded. Oh, every week she gets better and better. Every week there's something new. Every week is something new.
She's the future, man.
She's adding in wrist holds now. There's less taunting, more heel work. Oh my goodness, man.
That's fucking future.
What is she? I think she's like 28 and I listen, guys. When it comes to Jade Cargill, Salamander is more of an AEW mark than I am. Because for weeks I continuously say, all right, we need to get this belt off of her. No. I'm changing my tune. Salamander. Keep this belt on her for a year. There's nobody in that AEW locker room who's on her level. The time I feel like she needs to be TBS champion, moved into the no, not even that. When you're ready to move her on, she can still be TBS champion, and she can challenge for that women's title. There's nobody back there who can beat her, who's going to bring in the money she brings for that TBS championship. There's nobody back there. I guess you could go Ruby Soho, but is she going to bring in Jade like numbers? I remember when Jade was just running Rampage. Now she's on Dynamite. She's so fucking money that she's on Dynamite. Jade has main evented so many Rampages. I think I've lost count.
Jade got motherfucking Shaq to go through a table. Enough said.
She's fucking money, man. Fucking money. Hold on, Sullivan. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a week. It's gonna be like I give it a month before she main event Dynamite.
She can main event now.
But I give it a month before Tony Khan actually make that decision for Dynamite. Like she can do it now, but you know this is only like her second week being on there consistent with the title and having the title defense. I'll give it like a month after she did it for like a whole month. Then she'll be able to she'll get the recognition and then main event Dynamite.
Before we move on, two things. The rabbit hole reversal into the Jaded was fucking fantastic. Second, Salamander, I really want you to think about this. We get TNT championships and TBS championships defenses damn near every week. When's the last time the United States Championship and Intercontinental Championship were defended in back-to-back weeks?
Just a few months ago when Damien Priest was doing the open challenge.
You sure that was a month? You sure that was a month ago? Because I'm pretty sure his last title defense was AJ, and who was it before that?
It was just people that we don't know, because it was like people. It was people who was answering his open challenges, motherfuckers that we ain't gonna remember, like motherfuckers that we knew he was gonna win on. So that's why we don't remember. But he was doing when he got that title, he did an open challenge for like the system.
I think the last time the United States Championship was defended in consecutive weeks was when he had his little storyline with Dolph, and you never really got finishes out of that. They were all disqualifications until you got to the one rule, which was the third time where they were like, Damien Priest can lose the belt off of disqualification. Hey, that was the last time.
A title defense is a title defense.
That's that WWE coming out of you. You don't mind getting a non-finish to a title match. I can't do it. I need it. Whether it's gonna be a clean.
I don't care about.
I mean, if you gonna listen, all champions. See, that's the other thing. WWE makes you not care.
Yeah, I would say I don't care.
I care
on the IC title because they don't care. They show that they don't care. So why should I? They show that they care more about their SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Universal, the WWE, and I will say the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's. Other than that, all the other titles they don't give a fuck about. So why should I?
I mean, I would say they don't care about the SmackDown championships either. I don't think they care about anything with the tag team championships. But that's the point.
I would say SmackDown because they making the Usos, even though they have their defense every now and then, but they still making the Usos look strong for real with the title in hand. So I would say they care to a point with that. SmackDown, they got Charlotte, now they got Ronda there, so Ronda go get the belt. So of course they go get Ronda her dues. On Raw, they giving Becky, she on TV every week and all that stuff. She fight every pay-per-view, she got a title defense. So
what?
Every premium live event, she got her title defenses. So they giving her dues.
Listen, they don't care about anything outside of Brock, Roman, and the 4 horsewomen with Bianca Belair. Everybody else is there to do a job. Your job is to support those 5, 6, and you do what you got to do. That's why the Usos have been background players to this whole bloodline thing. That's why they keep throwing it in your face that Becky Lynch has won 3 years being undefeated, 3 years without losing the Raw Women's Championship match, but they'll refuse on commentary to say that she stepped away for maternity leave and was gone for about 1.5 years of that reign, where she didn't lose the belt, she just relinquished it. So what's up? There are so many inconsistencies here.
I think they did that wrong though. How she put the title in the Money in the Bank. I think the title should be in the Money in the Bank along with the Money in the Bank contract too. Like Asuka won it, so you the Raw Women's Champion, and then you also the Money in the Bank holder too. So shit, you can cash it in and win the women the one on SmackDown.
You know they not that smart. But yeah. Let's move.
Moving on to the main event, we got Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia. Danielson, he would pick up the win. So for this week of Dynamite, what would you give it? I would give this week a fucking 8.
I'm gonna go 9.5. It was almost a 10. I feel like if the Ricky Starks match didn't have such a stupid ass ending, I probably would have been up there with the 10. Because just like they went for the mask finish, but he didn't fully take his mask off. So why are you trying to fix your mask? Just put him back in the full Nelson and put his ass to sleep.
Yeah. Alright, so moving on to motherfucking SmackDown. We got a lot of news today, so we're gonna go ahead and just get through the last 2 shows. SmackDown opened up with Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair. They sneak attack Ronda Rousey during the interview. This is horrible. Big E, Kofi Kingston, well, the fucking New Day. I don't know why they ain't saying it. The New Day versus the Lethal Lovers.
Is that what that means in English?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
New Day pick up the win. I don't think they need a win. New Day already did so much as a tag. I really think, see, they keep fucking up this brilliant young tag team in the making by having them lose matches that they don't need to lose. But cannot complain because they are getting TV time.
They're the first match on SmackDown too for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so like cannot complain though.
Yeah, you can complain about the booking.
Yeah, I'm saying they losing, but they getting TV time.
You know, I would honestly have the New Day continue to lose until Xavier Woods is ready to come back.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. He's due for a title. He's due.
I would actually have him come back heel though. I'll actually turn the entire New Day heel.
Now we got Natalya versus a debuting Xia Li. Well, she debuted before, but this is her debut match on SmackDown. Xia Li will pick up the win. Now, if y'all been noticing, I've been very, very high on her ever since I seen her on NXT. And I've been waiting for her debut. And I'm glad that she came, but it didn't have to be at the cost of Natalya. Natalya, she already been picking up losses when she was losing to Aaliyah and shit. So, I don't know. I just now it's like now they trying to build up women, but they should have been doing this shit now. But when you see when they build up women, they're not building up women. They're building up a woman. They don't build up women. They build up the next woman to be in that title reign. They don't build up multiple women at the same time. They just build up one at a time. I
can tell you right now, Xia Li ain't it.
What?
Nope. She's boring. She's boring.
Y'all heard it here first. Camila Salamander signs off on Xia Li. She's gonna be the next one. I was right about Jade Cargill. I'm gonna be right about this one.
You will definitely not be right about this because she can't talk. And second off, she's not that good.
All right, we gonna see.
Plus, she's not safe. She injured Mercedes Martinez, knocked her out cold. Next thing you know, Mercedes Martinez was fired from the company.
She should have ate that because she did MMA.
Oh yeah. Let's give it to the person who didn't practice MMA, huh? The not safe worker.
Yeah, it's your fault. You used to taking stiff hits. So right now you decide to get knocked out.
I can't believe you talking bad about Miss Mercedes Martinez. I can't wait. I'm gonna tell her about you. I'm gonna tell her exactly what you said. I'm gonna clip it and I'm gonna send it to her. I'm gonna listen here, Miss Martinez. I respect your badassery. I respect it. This man Salamander don't respect it. He just think that, that Xia Li is just the greatest person when she actually, kicked you and you was out cold. I'm not surprised. Xia Li's a sports entertainer. Mercedes Martinez is a professional wrestler.
He's a fighter.
Martinez?
Yeah.
I hear you. Oh wait, you said Martinez?
Yeah, she's a fighter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I thought I heard Xia Li. Yeah, no, Xia Li's trash. I'm sorry, she's not gonna make it.
Following this, we got Johnny Knoxville. He ruined Sami Zayn WWE Intercontinental Championship celebration. That was a long ass title. This is some bullshit. I don't want to. We talk more about this shit at the news, but that's what happened. Then we got Sasha Banks versus what they call her, just Shotzi now. What's up with fucking WWE shortening everybody's name? Like, if you on NXT's on USA, that means that you kind of get in the same fan base. So like the main people on the main who watch Raw and SmackDown, they kind of know you since you on the same network that Raw is on, right? Yeah. Why when I make my main roster debut, you either change my name or you shorten my name? That don't make sense. Like, they already know me.
Because, bro, they don't want you to have to do too much. They don't want you to have to remember too much. Shotzi Blackheart was too much. Tegan Knox was too much.
Not really.
Yeah,
that will make it. That's what your name is what makes your character blossom. It's not.
Listen, Salamander. You're putting too much thought into it.
What they gonna do? Call Sasha or Banks?
Sasha.
They gonna call Charlotte.
And they already called Charlotte.
She'll just be Becky. That don't make no sense. Roman just gonna be Roman. Ain't no more Roman. Ain't no more Reigns.
Nope.
Ain't no more Jimmy and Jay. They just the Usos. Uso 1, Uso 2.
Yep.
McIntyre. Ain't no more Drew.
Nope.
Ain't no more Madcap Moss. Your name just Moss.
Nah, just Madcap.
Ain't no more Damien Priest. You Priest.
Yep. Nah, Damien. They don't want the bad side.
We ain't even gonna give you your name, Ricochet. Even though your name is already one, we gonna call you Rick.
Nah, they're gonna call him Rick O'Shea.
His last name is Man. MANN.
No.
Yeah, so when he made his debut, you know how usually when you sign a contract, you gonna be on NXT, you in the crowd for the that takeover, and they give you the shout out and shit.
Yeah.
But when he made this, they had his real name, they had Ricochet in parentheses, and then they had his last name, which is Man. And I was like, oh my god, I hope they don't call him Ricochet Man.
No. Nah, they'll just call him Rick O'Shea.
Following this, we got Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
Skip it. God fucking awful.
Yeah, because this is in the news. And then to end it off, we got Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar signing a contract for the WrestleMania main event. Paul Heyman, he hyped up everyone, needing to understand that Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, which is I can agree but disagree at the same time. I can agree because this Roman and this Brock we ain't never seen before. We seen Roman and Brock Lesnar all the fucking time, and this is like, oh my fucking god. But I said it plenty of times before, it's like the same shit, but it's reversed. So Rose is reversed. Like now we got a heel Roman and we got a babyface Brock Lesnar, but we got the babyface Brock Lesnar who's like, he's still Brock Lesnar, but we just fuck with him. That's it. But it's basically a badass monster versus a badass monster. That's all we get.
Yeah, and I'm go ahead.
I like this shit. I like this little contract sign. I'm looking forward to the match because you know the match gonna be stiff.
Yeah, love the contract signing. I like that how they specify. See, I was telling you there's a difference between title for title and a unification belt. So now we know it's the unification. So now
that's what they was going for.
So now on Monday night, I need to see a new belt Monday night. I don't need to see the WWE Championship. I need to see a brand new belt.
I think they're gonna hold it. He gonna hold both belts for like at least a little bit, and then they're gonna end up doing one. But I hope if he do it, they do it. Let's say Roman wins and he holds both titles, right? Boom. They go ahead and combine both titles together. Retire. Because we already know the WWE Heavyweight Championship is that WWE belt is the original belt that Bruno Sammartino held and all that stuff, right? So they're going to get rid of the Universal title. And since you already got the title of the WWE title, the black one, and it's the name of it's called the WWE World Heavyweight title, retire that shit and bring back the original gold belt.
No.
Either the WWE World Universal or some shit like that. The Universal World Heavyweight Champion. Some shit. But bring back the gold belt. The WWE gold belt. The belt that Eric Bischoff just handed Triple H because Brock Lesnar was drafted to SmackDown. Yeah, bring back that shit. That's the belt that we want. That's the belt that we need. I'm getting tired of all these fucking belts looking the same.
I think
fucking UFC, this WWE, be creative.
I think they working you because you know what's gonna happen. Here's what I want to happen. I want them to win. I want Roman to win, and then I want them to show up on Monday Night Raw and reference the Royal Rumble. And I want him to say something along the lines of, "When I looked at this belt, I realized that this belt doesn't define me. This belt defines me. So I don't want to carry the WWE Championship because I'm the greatest Universal Champion of all time. And I want to continue to be the greatest Universal Champion of all time. I want Roman Reigns to at least get to 750 as the Universal Champion before we even think about dropping it."
I'm about to tell you what's about to happen. They signed the contract, right? WrestleMania is still at least like a good month and a half away, right? 5 weeks, for real. So about a month away. Bobby Lashley is going to get medically cleared. He's going to make a point that he's never lost his title. They're going to make that match a fucking triple threat match. And let's say if Bobby pins Brock, he's the WWE champion. Roman still keeps his belt. If he pins Roman, he's a Universal champion. Brock still keeps his belt. But if Roman pins Brock, he's both champions. If Brock pins Roman, he's both champions.
Isn't that kind of undercutting Bobby Lashley?
Because no. Because Bobby ain't lose the WWE champion. Brock signed a contract for a title for title match. Brock and Roman did. Bobby is input and then he signed the contract for this because if he wins, boom. But that's just a way to keep, you ain't got to unify both. If they could they say that they wasn't trying to do that, they just did a brand split, did a draft, and then if you unify both titles, it really mean the brand split is over. They got just did that shit for no reason. The draft didn't last long. The brand split only lasted like 2 years. So if you do it this way, because they booked themselves into a nutshell, because they wasn't trying to do this, but now they have to. So that's a way to get out of it. You put the belt back on Bobby. I don't know. That's reaching though.
They're gonna book themselves into a corner, and I hope that they've booked themselves into a corner either way. But the dumbest thing coming out of this is Brock Lesnar beating Roman Reigns, and you know that's always a possibility.
I don't know, because lately Brock, especially when he was on the Pat McAfee show, I don't know, it seems like Brock is here. He ain't going nowhere. So if he do win, there's a chance that we might not a full-time Brock Lesnar, but we'll get him more times than we usually get him. I guarantee if he wins, he'll at least he ain't gonna be doing full-time schedule. He'll work pay-per-views, be on all the show, every Monday Night Raw, every SmackDown, cutting promos, and he'll probably wrestle like 2 matches, maybe one match on each show a month. A month. And then the pay-per-view, but he's on each show. Would you be mad at that?
Yes, because I want to see Brock wrestle. I want to see Brock wrestle more than 2 times a month.
You getting him beginning of the month on Raw, and then the middle of the month on SmackDown wrestling the match. It's Brock Lesnar.
I want to
he's
see
on every week. He's still there, cutting promos or whatever. Doing Brock even Brock Lesnar, when he was in the early 2000s and shit, when he was beefing with Kurt Angle and shit like that, you get that Brock back.
We're not going to get any TV defenses, and I even though the title is not going to change hands, I respect I respect a championship match on television. It just adds prestige to the belt. You see AEW, they'll give Hangman a championship match on regular TV. Roman has several title defenses on regular TV. It just adds prestige to the belt. I want to see you're the champion. I need to see you wrestle and defend said championship. If not, then why are you here? Why are you holding this belt? You might as well just be a special guest appearance, and it's Brock Lesnar, so anytime Brock Lesnar comes back, it's going to be big. So he's going to draw money. He doesn't need to be a champion. He's a champion now, but like I said, I'm not getting any TV title defenses. That's how you add prestige to a belt. The more title defenses, the more the belt gets over. Am I wrong?
Are you right?
So why do I just want to see Brock Lesnar defend this belt at this pay-per-view? And then we know how Brock is. Brock won't do a C-level pay-per-view. He won't do a B pay-per-view. He's only gonna show up on the A's.
He ain't gonna do Extreme Rules.
No, he's not gonna do Extreme Rules.
He's gonna do a Backlash.
I think only because Backlash is the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania.
TLC.
Nope. Brock climbing a ladder. We saw that one time with Money in the Bank, and he didn't even compete in the match. He ran down, knocked Mustafa off the ladder, and went and climbed it. He ain't doing TLC.
What would you give SmackDown?
I give it a 7. It was a solid show.
Yeah, I'm tired with you. AEW Rampage. We're gonna speed through this so we get to the news. We got Sami Guevara versus Andrade. I'm not gonna Idolo.
You almost got it. You gotta say it. You gotta say it with some pizzazz. Andrade El Idolo.
Almost had it.
Almost.
Sami Guevara, he picked up the win to retain his title. Where do Andrade go from here? We talked about it last week, I believe. Do you think he still had a chance to challenge for that title, or do you think it's pretty much over for him Where did he go?
What I think is going to happen, because they got that Tornado Trios match at the pay-per-view. So I think he'll get the pinfall over Sami Guevara. And then somehow, some way, Darby will be inserted. Let's just say Andrade attacks Sami after the match. Then Darby gets involved, and it's just those three in there, with Sami Guevara holding, the TNT belts after being beat up by Andrade. So then I think you'll get a TNT Championship match probably on television, unless they want to stretch it out to Double or Nothing, because that'll be probably the third week of May. So that's 5 weeks. So AEW is great at telling stories. So I'm pretty sure you could tell a three-way story in 5 weeks with Andrade, Darby, and Sami. And I think the next time that Sami sees Andrade will be walking out the new TNT champion. It's his time. He's clearly the next person who needs to be TNT championship, and we need to get a gauge on what the crowd thinks about Andrade, because we've seen him put on 5-star matches, but now we need to see if this character is truly working in AEW.
Okay. Moving on to the next match. I know I'm gonna butcher this, but we got Wardlow versus Nick. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck that up.
Nick Camarado.
I'm calling Nick. We already know who won. Motherfucking Wardlow. He a motherfucking monster right now.
They went crazy for that Powerbomb Symphony too.
Yeah, but every Powerbomb, like he is so over. Like he really needs, like, a mega push is like right in his alleyway, because I mean, there's not that many people who get over a powerbomb. That's a typical big man move. I can only recall like 3 people, and that's Batista, Undertaker, for real, shit, and Wardlow, for real.
I would add Mr. Brody Lee, because for real, people in AEW weren't really doing power bombs until Mr. Brody Lee destroyed Cody Rhodes with him, and then we started seeing power bombs.
I associate the discuss clothesline with Brody Lee.
I mean, the discus clothesline is good, but that power bomb wasn't over until he hit Cody Rhodes with like 4 of them, and everybody just started going crazy over power bombs. You referenced Shaq. Don't you think it was kind of funny when Shaq did the Brody Lee pose and then the power bomb and the crowd just went nuts and started chanting Brody? Like, Brody in AEW got that shit over.
Okay, I can give it to you. Following this, we got the Professor's 5-minute rookie challenge. Serena Deeb versus Kayla Sparks. This was a squash match, but it's good. I like the way that she's going with this. And to note, Rampage was back at its original time.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, yeah.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, the professor of wrestling, or the professor of professional wrestling, Miss Serena Deeb, is fucking fantastic. She's fucking fantastic. Even in squash matches, she looks good.
Following this, we got Anthony Bowens versus Orange Cassidy. And y'all already know I'm really behind the Acclaim. And these motherfucking raps, bro. It's McMarvelous, bro.
Yo, the Acclaim. Everybody loves the Acclaim. You know, you need to watch AEW Dark Elevation when they're on. Big Show and Mark Henry are fucking hilarious, because you know they're that old guard. So every time Max Caster's out there saying yo, you hear Big Show or Paul White and Mark Henry on there saying yo. Every time after they get done doing it. These announcers are funny as fuck. Just like Taz, when he hears Ruby Soho's music, he always has to sing it. These commentators are funny as fuck. It just shows
in their ear telling them to say this, say that, say this, say that. Don't say that. Don't say this. They letting them be a fucking commentator. They probably know at the end of the day what's happening, but they letting them commentate as live as they see it. They ain't got no script in front of them, so they just having fun.
I mean, that's how Pat McAfee. I don't see how Vince doesn't understand this. Like, I wonder how tight the chain is on Pat McAfee, because Pat McAfee do whatever the fuck he want to do. So he's obviously got to.
He ain't no wrestler. That's why he came from football. He was with the fucking Colts for years and shit, so he got that respect. And then he already had his show and all that shit before WWE. Then, you know, just so happened he just was a fan. WWE reached out to him and shit like that. So, you know, just depending on who you are, you get that extra leverage. And especially the first time commentary, and people was like taking a liking to him and shit like that. So you really got to see how. I mean, Vince, he got to see like, all right, people fuck with you and all this. Like, all right, boom. So Pat McAfee, I think he got the Corey Graves treatment where, you know, he do his thing. Good Corey Graves, he do his thing. I think Pat McAfee is perfect for SmackDown. But if he going Raw, I don't think he'll be so energetic.
I mean, it's what makes Pat McAfee great, the fact that he can go out there and be Pat fucking McAfee. But if you see how over Pat McAfee is, then why don't you just allow your other commentators to have a personality?
They probably don't.
Vince don't. He doesn't allow them. He don't allow them.
They don't got a personality though. Their personality probably dull as hell. Like, be honest. Would you watch a fucking Raw with Byron Saxton and Michael Cole? Corey Graves don't say nothing. He's there, but he don't say nothing. Would you watch that? That would make you want to tune out. It would make you fall asleep.
I bet you Byron Saxton has a great personality, but they just make him look like a fucking geek on there.
Seems so plain. Like, if I see Byron Saxton, I think of Carlton of the Fresh Prince. Like,
but Carlton's funny though.
But it's like a Carlton that's not funny. That's all I think of it.
I think, bro, that's just how WWE has made you think of Byron Saxton. Like, I guarantee he probably has a funny ass personality. But because, you know, you got to have the baby face. This is why I love AEW commentary. Because there is no heel nor baby face commentator. The heel isn't constantly beating up on his commentary partner. You know?
Yeah.
And I get tired of that. I get tired of Corey Graves berating Byron Saxton. It honestly gets on my fucking nerve.
Hey, you remember the one time where everybody thought Booker T and Corey Graves had beef? Mm-hmm. That shit was funny, man. Like, it was Corey Graves said something, Booker T was like, "What?" And you see his face, and he was so scared, man. That shit was so funny though. But for week 8 of wrestling, what would you give this?
Oh, I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'm sorry. What would you give Rampage?
Rampage was fine. It was fine. It gets a 7.
Yeah, I would say 7. What would you give the week of wrestling?
I give it an 8.
Alright, I'll see like 7.5.
I'll tell you this though.
I know next week about to be fire because the go home show for AEW. So
true.
Hey, that's next week about to be fire.
True.
At least on AEW side. AEW never disappoint.
I will tell you this. Whatever week
claim back on Dynamite, please.
Whatever week WrestleMania is in, will probably get a 10.
Yeah, because it's the go home. That's the only shit they care about, man. When it's the go home show for WrestleMania, that's when they really care and put on a fucking McMarvelous show. But if it's the go home show for any other pay per view, they don't give a fuck about. They don't really give a fuck about the go home show for fucking WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Survivor Series. I don't know why not the Royal Rumble, but the last couple of years of the Royal Rumble go home shows been ass. They just pray and hope that the motherfucking Raw after Mania is fucking good. Because the last couple of years, they've been ass.
Of course it's going to be good. Cody Rhodes will be there.
I don't know. We'll see.
Listen, we're getting, on the week of WrestleMania, we're getting 3 go-home shows. 2 premium live events on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday.
And then we're getting a premium live event of NXT.
That's what I'm saying. That's on Sunday. I mean, that's on Saturday.
I thought you were talking about night 1, night 2 of Mania.
No.
That's 2, technically.
2 on one day. You're getting NXT Stand and Deliver, and then later on that night, you're getting WrestleMania night 1. It will be
you get night 2, so you get 3.
Yeah. Two premium live events on one day, and then night 2, which would be the third. WWE might put on the best week of wrestling, and I think it won't be touched until AEW All Out.
I don't know. Only time will tell. But without further ado, let's just jump into this news. Vince McMahon WrestleMania match may be revealed. It was reported that Vince McMahon would be involved in the storyline for WrestleMania, and it's hard to think that McMahon at 76 years old will actually wrestle, but that seems to be the case. Dave Meltzer reported that Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee was listed as an internal match scheduled for WrestleMania. McMahon hasn't wrestled in an actual match since Bret Hart in 2010. On top of that, it's been several years since he took a bump. Is there a need for Vince McMahon to make an in-ring return?
Absolutely. We want to make this show stupendous. We want to sell out AT&T Stadium twice. 100,000 plus tickets, 2 nights. Of course, Vince McMahon has to be on this card. And who else other than Pat McAfee? Remember the last match Pat McAfee had in WWE? It was against Adam Cole, baby. And the match was fucking fantastic. He also was in War Games. You know, War Games, when Triple H was running it, certain people got in that. Now, that's not an everybody match. And he threw Pat McAfee in there. So that just goes to show you how great Pat McAfee is as a on-screen talent and just somebody you can throw in there if you want to just put something on there. And of course, bro, it's Vinnie Mac. When is Vinnie Mac not a big deal?
Yeah, that's true.
And then I just want to reference this. Remember when we were talking about Austin Theory and you said you didn't get it, and I said, look who Vince McMahon associates with. Vince McMahon only puts himself on TV with stars. He sees something in Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is one of the few people that is beloved in WWE. Can do no wrong. That's Pat McAfee.
Yeah. You got a point. Our next story kind of intertwines with our first story. We got Vince McMahon. He is going to give a rare interview to Pat McAfee during Friday night SmackDown. It was announced that Vince McMahon will be giving a rare interview next week on the Pat McAfee show. Now, the last time Vince McMahon did a long form interview was on TV in 2015 during the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull sections. It would be interesting to see if McMahon talk about some of the criticisms about WWE products, AEW, and the mass releases. Now, during SmackDown, McAfee said that he didn't know he was able to get McMahon on the show. It might have been because of the buzz that he did with the interview with Brock Lesnar. Now, maybe this interview is like a setup, a work for that potential WrestleMania match. Maybe like he would give off a good interview, then like towards the end, it's something like that they'll set it up. And Pat McAfee might ask him a question. If Vince McMahon responds like in an angry way or some shit like that, and then that'll lead into the build up to Mania and shit like that. But I think I'm predicting something is gonna happen during this interview.
Nah, I agree 100%. I honestly want to see Pat McAfee ask a question. Vince McMahon doesn't like it. Then Pat McAfee and him get to going at it, and then Pat McAfee's like, you can get the fuck off my show.
Yeah.
And then that's how you jumpstart it.
Yeah, they make you be like, ooh, like, damn, he gonna have it on Friday.
Yeah, and then Vince McMahon, he makes a rare TV appearance on SmackDown.
So Vince would tell him like, you could get out or some shit like that. Suspended, shit like that.
Yup. And then for like 4 weeks, you have Corey Graves on there, because Michael Cole and Corey Graves isn't bad.
Yeah,
that I can deal with that. And then Pat McAfee comes back, the week of WrestleMania on SmackDown, and demands that he can fight Vince McMahon for his position back.
But in the meantime, on the Pat McAfee show, No matter who's interviewing, he's just throwing shots.
Yeah, you have to have like a whole bunch of he had to have a whole bunch of wrestlers lined up every week, and I would want it to be people who aren't being utilized, and Vince is telling them, all right, Pat McAfee's gonna ask you these sort of questions. I need you to put me over.
Yeah, they protected Vince, but Pat McAfee's like, nah. Yeah, I agree. I fuck with that. Moving on to our next story, we got Seth Rollins. He is set to reach an impressive milestone at WrestleMania. Now, according to Cage Match, Rollins he will have his 11th pay-per-view. His 11th premium live event match at WrestleMania 38. He has currently worked 99 premium live event matches, and this doesn't include pre-show bouts such as the Money in the Bank kickoff show that he did in 2013. Seth Rollins is among 15 other stars who have reached this amazing accomplishment. He is currently tied with Kingston at 99 matches, behind Jeff Hardy at 102, and Randy Orton holds the record with 179 premium live event matches. Is Seth Rollins on the Mount Rushmore of this new generation of wrestling?
I'm gonna say yeah, but also I feel like that would just be dominated by all Shield members, who would be the fourth person to get in. I mean, the Shield was legendary, and Jon Moxley has only added to that. Roman Reigns has only added to that. Seth Rollins has only added to that. So who's the fourth?
You got Adam Cole.
Nah, he's good, but he's not Seth good.
You got Kenny, like this whole new generation of wrestling. You got Kenny, you got Bobby Lashley, you got AJ, I would say.
I mean, but AJ's been doing this so long, you can't just throw him in here because he was doing this in the early to late 2000s.
He is. They don't know that. They just know when he came to WWE.
That's their fault for not doing their homework.
Then,
just because you don't know, don't mean it didn't exist.
Then none of these wrestlers should be on there because they all been wrestling since the early 2000s, except for Roman. He started like early 2010s. Yeah. So then we need to put like Austin Theory and shit like that on this list then.
He ain't nowhere close to this, bro.
People who's like in their early 20s. But I'm just saying like this, where like even though you've been wrestling, but when you first made a name for yourself, and then it looks like that's all you gonna be. Like AJ Styles, it looked like that's what he gonna do till he can't wrestle no more. So since 2016, he's been like the kids' hero and shit like that. Like kids being in the crowd doing all that, saying phenomenal, all that shit like that. So I think he be up there. You could say Jon Moxley, you could say Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, but that fifth one, I think it's a huge debate between AJ, Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson. I would put him up there too, even though he been wrestling, but since he been a household name since WWE been PG, and that's when they started. This was just the new generation wrestling part, the PG shit. So he's part of that. So
okay, yeah. When you put it like that, I would say if I was doing just a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers, Bryan Danielson takes the top spot.
That's hard as fuck. Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers, all promotions, no matter what generation too.
I'm talking pure professional wrestler.
So who is on that? You said Bryan Danielson. That's one.
Probably Bret Hart.
Okay.
Bret Hart. Shawn Michaels.
It's hard as fuck.
Kurt Angle.
Okay. That's a lot of technical right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like pure professional. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even want to leave off Jonathan Gresham, the ROH champion. He's a master class technician in the ring, up there with the Bryan Danielsons. He was backstage at Dynamite. I pray to goodness Tony Khan signs him, and we get a ROH title defense between Gresham and Bryan Danielson in a pure, I think it's a pure wrestling match where you only have 3 rope breaks and you can't throw closed fists. Their rules, those Ring of Honor rules.
Yeah.
A 30-minute banger of pure technical wrestling. Like, remember how good the Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty match was? The match he just had this week with Daniel Garcia. It's going to be that times 10.
I can see that. Moving on to our next story, WWE Hall of Famer Sunny, she was arrested in New Jersey. WWE Hall of Famer Sunny, she was arrested February 24th in Canonsburg, New Jersey. According to the state record, she is charged with driving under the influence of liquor or drugs, operating a vehicle with suspended license, reckless driving, driving without a license, and failure to wear a seatbelt, and many, many, many more. Sunny, she has a court date set for March 10th. The next story, we got WWE. They are setting up Sami versus Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh boy. Johnny Knoxville, he made his WWE return on Friday Night SmackDown to answer Sami Zayn open challenge for WrestleMania. Zayn, he went face to face with Knoxville and then pretended to leave the ring. Zayn then attacked Knoxville with punches and a haluva kick in the corner of the ring. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but this writing make it seem like that's what they setting up for. So far, including this match, the updated card for WrestleMania is the winner takes all match against Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. SmackDown Women's Championship match, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. The Raw Women's Championship match, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Intercontinental match, if they add this on, it would be Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. The Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul. And Edge versus a to be announced competitor. My guess is Cody Rhodes.
I'm going to AJ Styles.
I was just about to ask you too, who should answer his call.
I'm going AJ. I think we save Cody for after Mania.
But just think about it though, like Edge come out like it's been announced, right? But it's not like Edge got a match at WrestleMania, but it's a silhouette, and we don't know who it is. And there's rumors like, yeah, it's AJ, da. But oh, Edge come out, he in the ring, he just like he's prepared, like come on, and then we hear a new theme. We're like, what the fuck? And it's something like, I'm thinking if he come, he should come as the gimmick that he got, because I'm pretty sure he owns that gimmick. And if he's smart, he probably made the fact that if he take that gimmick there, they can't own nothing to it. So you'll hear something and it'll be like Nightmare, and then boom, some shit like that, and he coming out, and then you got motherfucking Cody Rhodes versus Edge. Of course, Cody will pick up the win. And then that would make Monday Night Raw more intense for him to make his appearance.
As much as I love that,
will tune in.
As much as I love that, if they're gonna do that night one, and then he beats Edge night one, and then night two when Roman, or if Roman beats Brock, because you're not running Brock versus Cody. There's no point. Cody would never win. What you gonna do?
He beat Edge night one, and night two, but Roman pick up the win. He come out, have a face off with him.
Yep. Hey, you've already
free agent.
Huh?
You will be considered a free agent.
Exactly, and you set up the Friday night after WrestleMania.
That will be good.
Because you're not doing Brock versus Cody. He ain't winning that.
Yeah, ain't no way. You gonna destroy him. He gonna suplex his ass back to AEW.
Yeah, he gonna take 4 of them suplexes and be like, "Yeah, I'm cool. I'm glad I was a free agent when I took this."
WWE reportedly has no creative plans for Alliance. There are several people in WWE on the WWE roster who the company doesn't have creative plans for, But it's one person that seems to be getting the first coat of paint was Elias. WrestleVotes had previously reported that Elias had somewhat changed his looks with new tights, but Vince McMahon didn't like it. They said he was too similar looking to Randy Savage. Ringside News later reported that Elias was spotted backstage in December. He had a clean shaved face and shorter hair. If WWE plans on bringing him back on TV, it doesn't seem like he'll be back before WrestleMania, since it don't make any sense because he don't have any match booked right now. So if he comes back, it might be the Mania after the Raw after Mania or the SmackDown after Mania. But just like he's stuck in the same boat, just like Veer Mahan. So they ain't got no plans for him. Along with they ain't got plans for like 50% of their roster right now. So they just chilling. Being back for no reason. Chilling. Eating snacks.
I'm not an advocate for anybody losing their job, but you know there's a mass set of releases probably gonna happen after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And with them not having any plans for Elias, he's probably on the chopping block.
I predict they'll release Elias. They're gonna release Veer Mahan. They're gonna release like at least like I'd say 1/12, like 1/4 of the people who they don't have creative plans for right now.
Yo, I can see Jinder, Shanky gone.
Now they gonna keep Jinder because they want that. They keeping that India deal together. So they gonna keep him just like they gonna keep damn, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. But the guy from Mansoor.
No.
Keep him because of the deal that they got with Saudi. They're gonna keep Jinder because Jinder helped put that deal together with India. Just like they gonna get rid of Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil's a spokesperson for WWE now. They gonna get rid of him.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Not like by wrestling. He's a Hall of Famer through like the shit that he be doing extra for WWE.
They never wanted to give him a chance.
I don't think he would have made it. He can't talk to me.
Don't you say give him a mouthpiece?
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think he can wrestle either.
He's not the worst we've seen.
I mean, you trip and fall slide under the ring like that. It's pretty.
Didn't you say that's what made that whole premium live event memorable?
It broke the ice. It broke the ice. The whole thing.
I mean, listen, anybody can fall walking down a ramp.
No, it was just, bruh. He was too geeky. He was too ready to get into that. He was just too ready though. You just tell like Vince probably told him like, all right, you got 5 seconds to get to the ring to do the spot, and then that's all he was thinking about 5 seconds. So he just running and just saw having to trip and just slid right under that motherfucker. That shit was funny. They played that shit. They played it so much it wasn't funny no more. Like that whole show, they kept replaying that shit too. I remember that. That's the only thing I really remember for that. I remember that Rey Mysterio coming, making his debut. I mean his return, and then Braun Strowman winning the title, that ugly ass title that we ain't never saw after that.
Who slipped last year's WrestleMania? Was it Dana Brooke?
No, that was Liv Morgan.
Are you sure? I thought it was Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose, yeah, her. Yeah, Mandy Rose.
Listen,
Randy Orton came out and teased it when it was raining and shit. Yeah. Fuck ups happen, but I mean you could slip, but goddamn, you slip, my boy. You slip all the way under the ring. Like it's a difference. Goddamn, I don't know. That shit crazy like a motherfucker. But moving on to the next story, we got WWE. They teased a babyface turn for a SmackDown star. Now WWE, they've been teasing the split of Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin for a while. Now Corbin, he has stepped in to replace Moss in a match against Drew McIntyre. Corbin called Moss an inspiration for landing on his head and continuing to fight during his match at Elimination Chamber. And Corbin then suggested to Moss to step back into the ring and take that match tonight with McIntyre. Michael Cole said that Moss had looked a big surprise when Corbin had asked him to fight McIntyre because Moss' neck is hurt. Now WWE, they been dropping subliminal hints between the two, Corbin and Moss, but this week it made it obvious that the split is coming soon, possibly at WrestleMania. Moss, he was praised backstage for his toughness, and he has been praised for being a professional and his improvement into the ring. The feud between Corbin could be the beginning of him getting away from the comedy gimmick. Are you behind this story?
No, because Madcap Moss without Happy Corbin will flop.
You gonna go back to being Riddick Moss or just Moss?
The same Riddick Moss who wasn't getting any TV time. At least he's getting TV time now with Happy Corbin.
It might sound back Tino's I gotta say the name, but put them back in the tag together.
No.
I don't even think they should have let him go.
Who you talking about?
His tag partner in NXT. Tino Sabroni. I forgot to say his name. Tino. Moving on to the next story. Bobby Lashley, he is trying to get medically cleared ahead of WWE WrestleMania. Now, Bobby Lashley, he is out with a legitimate shoulder injury during his match with Brock Lesnar at the WWE Royal Rumble last month. If he undergoes surgery, he will be out for at least 4 months. Now, WWE did an angle at Elimination Chamber where he was removed from the match and stating that he suffered a concussion, and this had allowed Brock Lesnar to win the title. WWE simply had pulled him from Saturday's Madison Square Garden event where he was advertised to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship match. But now Brock Lesnar don't have an opponent for that match. So I got 2 questions. One, well, I'm gonna get to that later. Ringside News reported that they told that Lashley is trying to get medically cleared, not only for MSG but for WrestleMania. He did undergo medical testing for his shoulder with WWE doctors in Birmingham, Alabama. Now the first question is, who do you think will be Bobby Lashley's replacement? And the second question is, do you think it's possible that Bobby Lashley can get medically cleared before WrestleMania?
I'm going to answer your second question first. No, because he's projected to miss 4 months. See, as great as WrestleMania is, your health should never become a second priority just to get to the grandest stage. You're under contract. You're going to be there. You're Bobby Lashley. You're the Almighty. You're going to make WrestleMania next year. Unless you are physically incapable or they just take you out of the company, you're going to be on next year's WrestleMania. It's a guarantee. They're going to make sure you get on the card. So if I'm Bobby, I just wait. To answer your first question, main event Uso. They got to find some way to continue the storyline. I can see Brock Lesnar fighting main event Uso. It'll probably be some type of squash match. It's just a house show in Madison Square Garden. And then it will further the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar thing. What I'm thinking is with that March 5th show at the Garden, he takes out the Usos. The Usos go off for a little bit until Roman needs them at WrestleMania. Then that's where they make their triumphant return and they help Roman secure the deal.
Okay. Moving on to our next story, we got Mick Foley. He was disappointed about Cesaro WWE exit. Mick Foley, he took to social media to give his thoughts on Cesaro. And Foley said that he was disappointed to hear that he was no longer with WWE, and he felt that Cesaro wasn't given a chance to prove that he could be a top star. And I agree. Foley, he will say the following: I'm really disappointed because I have been one of Cesaro's biggest supporters for a long time, ever since I saw him working in the independents in the early 2000s. I saw him in Ring of Honor in 2005 or 2006. Man, Vince McMahon just never saw him what I saw him and what so many of you have saw, which was a world champion. But in this case, I feel like it's WWE lost in the wrestling world game because this guy, Cesaro, he can work anywhere in the world. Now, let's go ahead and get the elephant out the room. Yes, it's an obvious fit for him to go to AEW. Period. Obvious. Is there anything you'd like to add to this?
WWE. Fuck World Wrestling Entertainment. How do you let Cesaro go? I don't see how they didn't see that Cesaro was main event caliber wrestler. You know why? Because he's not a sports entertainer. He's a professional wrestler. I mean, it's Cesaro. Cesaro could walk into any promotion and be a world champion. If he walks into AEW, I can see him being a champion. I can see him being a TNT champion within a year. I can see him being an AEW world champion within 2 years. You don't always have to be able to talk. It's just, it benefits your character better when you can talk. But there are some people whose work in the ring does the talking for them. Bryan Danielson never in his life has to cut another promo again. He could go in the ring and do it. His work in the ring does the talking. Cesaro is one of those guys. I remember back to the fantastic Best Out of 7 with Sheamus and Cesaro. Remember how physically demanding those matches were? And it really put over Sheamus and Cesaro.
Even though as a tag was good.
The bar?
Yeah, that was good. Good as fuck.
It was good as fuck. So it is WWE's loss. And Mick Foley is absolutely right. Vince McMahon never wanted to give Cesaro a chance. It was funny that when Bryan Danielson got behind, got some form of creative, let me work with Cesaro. He puts on a fantastic match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Puts on a fantastic match with Roman Reigns at Backlash. Never seen from him again. Cesaro is a fantastic wrestler. And if he doesn't come to AEW, please go to New Japan. Because they need, I'm not even saying they need somebody like Cesaro, because New Japan is New Japan. New Japan's fucking dope. But he would fit in
he will
anywhere.
Blossom
yes.
Here, though, for sure.
Yes. He will blossom in New Japan. So go there. Or hell, go to Impact, where you can make a huge splash in that X division. And on the Impact, they might push you to the moon and throw Cesaro in that main event title picture. I can definitely see a debuting Cesaro taking that belt off of Moose. Moose, we got a surprise opponent for you. You won't find out until the next pay-per-view. Cesaro's music, some form of Cesaro's music hit. Oh my gosh, it's and they'll probably call him Antonio Cesaro. That was one of his early names. And I can see him taking that belt off Moose. Underutilized by Vince McMahon. Cesaro's great. I hope he comes to AEW.
Yeah, Antonio Cesaro was his name. You probably go by his the other name that he went by. I don't know how to pronounce this at all. It's like some Italian shit. That's what it seemed like. But moving on to our last story, we got top AEW star reaches a milestone. Cowboy Shake Heyman Adam Page, he will slowly build up as a top AEW star. He had his crowning achievement in his pro wrestling career at the AEW Full Gear event where he beat Kenny Omega to win the AEW World title. He was originally planned to win the title earlier than that, but it was delayed as Page took some time off for the birth of his first child. Plans was pushed back again with Christian Cage that took his place on Omega for the world title at the All Out pay-per-view event. Now Page, he recently crossed the milestone holding the championship for 100 days as he reached it about a week ago before his next title of defense. The longest reigning AEW World Champion is Kenny Omega with 346 days, followed by Jon Moxley at 277 days, and Chris Jericho at 182 days. Page, who will defend his championship against Adam Cole at next Sunday's AEW Revolution pay-per-view event in Orlando, Florida. Now, since you done reached the 100 days achievement, is it a perfect time for Heyman to drop the title?
No, not yet. Not yet. I want to see him get to 5 months at least. 5 months, and then he can drop it to MJF. So I would say if Tony Khan cannot hold off until All Out, then he probably will have him drop it sometime around Fyter Fest, because I think if Fyter Fest, I believe Fyter Fest is in November. Maybe they do like a big 4th of July show and Hangman drops it there. If you can't wait to the All Out pay-per-view, then I think Hangman will probably drop it on a TV special.
I got a question.
Yes.
Do Big Swole sign to WWE?
Not that I've heard of.
No, do she?
No, I wouldn't. Big Swole needs to be in a fantastic women's division. If anything, she needs. Yup. Took the words right out of my mouth. Yep, she needs to be an Impact.
Impact. Okay, I can see that. All right. That's it, guys, for week 8 of Professional Wrestling. Go ahead and check out the DB podcast here on YouTube. And for more exclusive episodes, check us out wherever you get your podcast from. I'm Camilio Salamander. This can't be the mark. It's simply be some fucking marks.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.